Be joined by two gentlemen. One is already on set. His name is Michael Kamau. You'll get to know him in a few. But remember, as I also promised you, that Peter Pinches Maora is currently at Impala Grounds and will be bringing us the proceedings of the Floodlies and what to expect this evening. 0739-110544 is our SMS line. Talk to us at KUTV Kenya on Twitter. On Facebook, it's KUTV Kenya. I'm at Florndungu. Talk to at Real Pinches and ask him any kind of question. But for now, live from Impala Grounds is Peter Pinches Maora. Good afternoon, Peter Pinches Maora. How are you, and what do you expect today in terms of rugby?
Excitement, and I'm telling you, while Florence coming to you live from the Impala Ground, I'm telling you, this is one of the rugby event that it is highly anticipated. Maybe say for the likes of the Safari 7, but in terms of the longer version, this is one of the event, a standout event, mainly because it is staged at night, or rather, it starts from way late into the evening, and you find even matches having to be even slated for even late into the evening, and it's an entertaining atmosphere, especially coming in in a weekend. This is a comeback, or rather, this is the second week of this competition. Semi-finals are being staged. We are having different matches in terms of the age grade and the winning competition being staged at the St. Mary's School. And of course here, currently underway is a university encounter quarter-final pitting Strathmore University against USIU, and Strathmore Leos are reigning supreme, currently leading that's 7-17. Remember earlier we had a match pitting Mean Machine and Monks, another quarter-final, and Mean Machine were able to record a 17-12 win. Later we'll be having, probably 20 minutes from now, we'll be having Kenyatta University Black Blood taking on Nondis in a club semi-final. It's going to be exciting, and I'm telling you, Jan, the floodlights, it's always stand out because of the atmosphere and creating an environment, an evening environment, something that you don't find most in terms of sports, even football. I don't remember a day that we were able to watch a match at night, maybe say for when the national team or even the CAF Confederation Cup and the club championship, CAF Club Championship, you just find them. Those are the few matches that maybe you might be able to attend at night, and this one is a standard. We'll be creating conversation in terms of even sponsorship. It's another one of the events that has been able to maintain sponsors for a very long time. It has been able to continue running mainly because of sponsors, and we'll be trying to talk to them and maybe have an insight from them on why they have chosen to associate themselves with this particular tournament. Also be talking to some of the players, and I've even been able to see some of the players from the university sides. And remember, another competition that ongoing is the Varsity League, the second edition of the Varsity League. But a bit change for this particular one, Florence, compared to maybe in the inaugural edition that happened last year. We saw a lot of pop and color with different sponsors coming on board. But this particular one, you can't even remember. Actually, say for last year, how we even were knowing about the matches even before the week was over, or even the start of the week. Currently, it's a bit different. Even the marketing is a bit down. We'll be talking to some of the officials and some of the players from the university side to just have an insight. Maybe they can't even be able to create a picture of how the competition is faring today. I understand the semi-finals are being staged at the University of Nairobi. Last weekend, they had matches at the Kenyatta University ground, while the quarterfinals, I think the likes of Black Blood and Mean Machine were able to reign supreme, and probably might be a situation where even in the second edition, the top tier team, that is Mean Machine and Black Blood, or rather currently we can't say it's Black Blood because it's the only varsity side that has been able to maintain its core status in the Premier Rugby League in the country, facing off in the finals. A lot of conversation, even for the rugby lovers, anything that you want us to be able to cover for you, or to just talk to anyone. I think we have a lot of stars around here, bearing in mind that the international matches are over for the Kenya Simbas. We expect to see a lot of stars being able to take to the field. Of course, a lot of changes last season. Remember, again, we are also having surprises this season. Remember the likes of Menengai Oilers, they have been able to make it to the semi-final after reigning supreme against teams that have the experience number of this competition. So even Impala was eliminated, by the host were eliminated by Menengai Oilers. So it will be interesting to see how they line up in their respective matches. KCB will be talking on Homeboys in a late night kickoff, or rather the last match of the day that is supposed to kick off from 7:20 by 5:50. Also be having another match Pitting Menengai Oilers, they're supposed to be to play Kenya Harlequins. It's going to be exciting. There is also a lot of Florence changes in terms of the management of some of these rugby teams. For Homeboys, they have been able to bring on board a new coach to try and maybe see whether this will be the year they might be able to secure a title in the longer version. For Harlequins, again, a bit of technical bench changes with Habimana, who has served in the Kenya Simbas, coming on board and being able to head the technical team. So it's also be interesting to see how some of these changes will impact on the playing style of some of these teams. Impala, again, they have been able to bring on board Mitch Ochola, and I think there's a lot of changes, and we'll be following up to see some of these changes from some of these teams and how the longer version is going to fare this season. Back to you, Florence, in studio.
All right, Peter Pinches Maura, I would want to ask you a question before I let you go. And it's about the senior players, that is the 7 senior players who have decided to come back to the national team, and they're ready for the Safari Sevens. What do you have to say about that as an ardent rugby follower?
Exemption. I think if you have followed rugby in terms of the local scene, and you watch some of these legendary or other of the players who have been part of the Kenya Sevens team for a very long time, you could see that they still have it, they still have the energy, they are still good at what they do, and you just hope and wish that they can be able to make a comeback to the national team. But again, I think my concern will be able to see how now the new technical director, Paul Finney, will be able to combine the young guys who are able to do the job for Kenya, or rather to represent Kenya in last season. Remember, again, I think they did a good job. Save for that, we are fighting for relegation. I think we have a lot of standout players that were born last season, and I'll be able to. I think for many rugby lovers, they just want to know, or rather to see how we can be able to blend some of these experienced players with the young lads that are able to impress. But again, we need to know that as much as we might be seeing the likes of Injera and Mbaka making a comeback in the national team, the 7th team for the World Series, I think we also need to be able to maintain a situation, rather a system where some of these players, when they are called up to the national team, we are not surprised. We don't fight for relegation, but we can't be able to maintain a certain performance level. We need to be able to maintain a system that can be able to feed us good players. But for now, I think everyone is happy to see them come back. I think some of these players, the likes of Jeffrey Oluoch coming back, combining well with the likes of Olindi, Onyala, I think it would be interesting to see how some of these young superstars can be able, or rather young speedsters, most of them are speedsters, can be able to combine with the legendary speedsters, the likes of Injera. I think it'll be interesting for 2019-2020 HSBC World Series. And the world should watch out. And the start are actually supposed to happen probably 10 or 14 days from now. We'll be having the Safari 7, not far from here actually. Remember the RFE, just a walking distance. We'll be having the Safari 7. So where Kenya will be represented by Morans and Shujaz. And remember, this is one of a kind competition. We'll be having the likes of South Africa come, the likes of Spain. They are core teams. And remember, South Africa, they have vowed that we are not going to field a young team. We are just bringing on board our best to make sure that we are, just to prepare for the World Series and even the Olympics. They are going to bring the best that they have been able to assemble. So it'd be interesting to see how the Morans and the Shujaz, which I guess the Morans, most of the time you see a combination of the young players, and the Shujaz having a combination of more of the experienced players, or rather the players that have been able to impress for Kenya for a very long time. So it's going to be exciting, and even Kenya, you should prepare actually to be part of the 2019 Safaris, and I'm telling you, this one is going to be an ultimate experience that you'll never forget, with the likes of the core teams coming on board, and even our superstars making a comeback to the national team. And again, Florence, when we talk about the superstar coming back, I think sometimes when you enter into some of the sponsorship, remember, not far from a fortnight ago actually, we reported, or rather we announced, KRU announcing new partnership with one of the leading beer making companies. So these are just the fruits of being able to align yourself, rather being able to enter partnership with companies that can be able, they have the interest of rugby as much as it's about the sponsorship. They have the interest of rugby, and these are just but the fruits, and we are hoping we can be able to see a lot of changes in rugby. I think rugby deserves to be top there, but for a very long time with the Rangos, I think we have not been able to see the best of rugby in the last 2 or so years. So it's an exemptional experience, and it's good to hear that now we are going to be sure of a team that can be able to record wins. We are not gambling with the World Series again. Back to you, Florence.
All right, Peter Pinches Mwaura, they are being very enthusiastic. But I wanted to ask Mwaura, I don't know if Mwaura is still with us. I don't know if you are as tensed as I was yesterday. I'm talking about athletics. Let us shift gear kidogo and I'll be asking my guests the same. But Mwaura, tell me your views. I know it's far away from rugby. You're talking about athletics, the World Athletics Championship. Yesterday, it was a tense moment in the 3,000 meter steeplechase. That will be our first discussion on set. But what are your views? Were you as tense as we were yesterday?
Yeah, I was. As a matter of fact, I even had to switch off my TV and wait probably for the next 5 minutes, 4 minutes to just switch on again and see how we are faring, especially in the 3,000 meter steeplechase. Remember, these are just but some of the disciplines that we have been able to perform very well. But of late, things are not been happening well. Even in the 800 meter races, things are changing, and we need to be able to do things, or rather to embrace a practice where we can be able to, not just when we are having national trials, that we only focus on athletic. I think we need to do a lot of focus in our in some of the discipline, how we are able to prepare, because remember the heat in Doha, maybe it's getting some of the athletes are not being able to fare. And again, Florence, I think we need to also to embrace technology. As much as athletic is more of your body having to fight under different weather conditions, I think there are also different technological advances that even the likes of Americans are embracing. And that's why we're seeing them having to compete, or rather they are challenging us in some of the disciplines that we are able to dominate. And situation has changed. Days when we used to, you just walk around the street and you just come back and you are sure that you can't be able to record a certain win in certain races. But things are changing, and we also need to evolve. We also need, let us not practice the old ways of preparation, the old ways of in terms of even, I don't think again we are even running as a team. I think back in the days we used to have our own tactics in terms of how we approached the races. Some of these tactics, we are still using them in the races, and I think our opponent have been able to master them, and they have been able to just know what to do to be able to reign supreme against some of our best athletes. And again, it's worrying that even some of the athletes that we had high hopes on, the likes of Conseslus Kipruto, Helen Obiri, we are seeing them struggling. I think it's not a situation that athletic lovers, and remember again, for athletics, even those who don't understand more about athletics, they do know that Kenya is a force to reckon. But I think the situation is changing, and we also need to evolve to make sure that by the next time we are having the Olympics, remember in 2020, we can be able to come back and reign supreme in the 5,000, in the 10,000, the 3,000 steeplechase, and even the 800 meter men. I think for that probably might be one of the races that we started losing on once the world record holder was out of the team. So we need to evolve, actually. That's my take. I think we need to evolve. We need to embrace new ways of even preparing, and even of investing, because not many people want to invest in some of the sports that have been able to put Kenya on the map.
All right, that is our very own Peter Pinches Mwaura live from the Impala Grounds, where the Floodlits are ongoing age group rugby matches have already kicked off, and he will be giving us more insights as we continue with this particular show. But amazing insights on what is happening in rugby, and also his opinion and thoughts on what is happening in the world of athletics, that is in the World Athletics Championship currently ongoing. It has been going on for a couple of days in Doha, Qatar, and yesterday we did have that gold from Conseslus Kipruto. 0739110544 is our SMS line. At KUTV Kenya, that is our handle on Twitter, also on Facebook, and we are streaming live the proceedings of this particular show. Talk to